I'm going to talk about online dating from the perspective that I haven't dated online myself. But based on the work that we've done with couples, there are a few things that I've learned from online dating that I want to share. So this is something my wife tells couples a lot, that many years ago, even in African society, in Indian society, they have what we call arranged marriages, where your your family will find, another family, their child. I don't know if you've seen Indian Matchmaker on Netflix. It's very interesting. We like watching that. I like the traditional aspect to it, but there are cultures that still practice arranged marriages. And then when we were growing up, our parents maybe met in the village, because of they knew another family, and they connected. And then our parents came to the city and met, in the city somewhere on a job or something like that. And my wife and I, we met at school. We were in boarding school. I was 17, she was 15. She just came to the school. Somebody said, "Oh, there's a new girl and we think you're going to like her." And I saw her and I'm like, "Wow, she's really nice. I like her." And, our relationship started. So look at all the changes. If my great grandfather was here and I tell them that I met somebody at school, she'll be as surprised as we are all surprised that people meet people online, because things are evolving, things are changing. So the whole online is just another place where people meet, So the key thing here is that it doesn't matter if you're meeting online or in person. There are certain things that you have to be aware of, and I'm going to lay a few things down for all of you to think about. Love is becoming the right person, not finding the right person. So when you're talking about dating, looking for somebody, you also want to be the right person for the other one. Now, a lot of people talk about, if you watch a lot of this show I refer to, people go on a date and say, "I didn't get a spark." That spark is very elusive. You can meet somebody, not get the spark, but the person could be the right person, So don't go looking for a person you will spend, don't go looking for the person you will date, but go looking for the person you want to spend the rest of your life with, and become that person you want to spend the rest of your life. So the point here is that, it's not about going online to find somebody who clicks, but somebody who has character. And I'm going to go into a little bit of those details as well. Now, another thing, I'm kind of laying some foundations here. The other thing I also want to talk about is create space in your life for another person. Because if you've been by yourself for a long time, we all get to set in our ways. And if you're dating, you're going online looking for somebody, or whatever things that you do to meet somebody, make sure you're creating that space in your life that if somebody else comes into your life, you will really enjoy the process. I don't want to just talk about online dating and not talk about these things. Enjoy the process as well. So in the end, a lot of people find love when they are enjoying themselves, And then another thing also is that we don't date online. We meet somebody online and then we date the person. So think of it that way, that when you're going online to we call it online dating, but it's online looking. That's what it is. You're not going to date and marry the person online. You marry the person in person. So have it in mind that if you're thinking, or somebody thinking of online dating, their goal is to go and connect with somebody, and the goal again is to meet the person in person and not just stay online and back and forth. So don't go looking for a spark or butterflies in your stomach and all those things. You want the right person, Now, the question is online dating good or bad? It's good. In our church, a lot of young people are meeting online, just as people meet at school, at work. There was a story I heard that blew my mind. There was a guy who had moved to a new town, and he was looking for a business or some service or whatever, and he called the number and he missed it by one digit, and a woman picked it up, and she asked the woman a question, and the woman said it's a wrong number, and the woman said the man's voice was so nice, so he said, who is this, can I help you? Before they realized, they had been on the phone for 1 hour, and then it proceeded to meeting. Long story short, they've been married for several years now, just calling a wrong number, So it's not an issue of where and how, but it's what you do with it. This guy could have said wrong number and hanged up. It would have missed a wonderful partner, But this person opened up a little bit and got to know this person, listened to this person, and quickly found out that, wow, this is a great opportunity for me to connect with somebody. So I'm going to highlight a little bit on some of the things that, in addition to online dating, that will help us if you're somebody looking to get into a relationship as well. So, but before I do that, let me highlight a little bit about, let me talk a little bit about if you decide to go the online dating route. And this is actually what I'm going to say from here is based on research. It's by a lady who owns an online dating platform and what she's found over the years. One of the recommendations is that have a great picture that shows a headshot, a nice picture that you put out there, in your profile. That's one. Two, have a photo of you doing something that you love. So if you like singing, maybe have a photo or video showing yourself singing. If you like tennis, show yourself playing tennis. Because this is where online dating gets people in trouble. They go to look at the nice things and not the real thing. And the reason why this is important is that you want to show who you really are, a photo of a full body. So not just your shot, but you standing, so that they can really see who you are, And then another thing is don't show photos of you doing the same thing in different places. So for example, if you like tennis, don't show the tennis you had in New York, in Germantown, in Maryland. Just have variety of different things that you do. It says that there are some profiles that allow you to answer certain questions. Tell a story about yourself. If you are saved, say, I'm saved, and this is it. This is who I am. I go to church. This is my lifestyle. Because in the end, just like, when I went to school and I met my wife, it wasn't a church where I met my wife. It was a school. But then when we got to talk, we met and we realized that, there's so much. So it's not where you're meeting the person. It's what you do with that opportunity you get with that person, So that's why I'm saying that, have a great profile. If it's something that you're interested in doing, make sure your profile is well done. So they're saying about 5 photos showing, and then if you can, add a photo of you and your parents or your brothers. But there's one thing that you have to be careful of. Make sure you don't put pictures where when somebody looks, they can't tell which one is you. Have that in mind. So be very careful. Have pictures that really show who you are. It doesn't mean you're putting yourself out there, because the truth is, even your picture on LinkedIn put you out there, So, or Facebook is the same thing, Don't use selfies. Get a very nice photo taken to put there. Do a spell check. Make sure that whatever you're written is well written. Be specific. Be vulnerable. There was a story of a lady who, on her profile on a dating site, she put in there that she doesn't know how to ride a bike. And people loved it. People were like, I can't wait to teach you how to. A lot of guys were like, I will like to go out with you and I can't wait to teach you how to ride a bike, you know. So be vulnerable. If you don't know how to do something, maybe you can say, I don't know how to drive a stick shift, or I don't know how to, I don't like, you can say whatever it is, or something. You don't say things you don't like, but say things that you don't know or you like to know, you know. That's also, that's very good, you know. It helps to see the humanness of you. People want to see the humanness of people and not the pretty nice things all the time, you know. So those are the things. Now, I want to talk about one thing, whether it's dating online or not. There's one thing that, according to research, is keeping a lot of people from getting into relationship. And they call it the ick factor. What is the ick factor? So the ick factor is where you meet a very nice girl. You know, everything about this girl is correct. But the fact that she has a down cut, you don't like it. She's cut her hair and combed it, you don't like it. So because of that, you're not going to date this girl. You know, people are losing great relationships because of that. There was a story of a woman who met this nice guy and said the guy's wallet had Velcro on it. You know Velcro? The Velcro, that sticky thing you use to hold things together. Just because of that, she didn't want to go out with this guy, you know. Or things like, I don't like how his pants look. You can buy new pants for him. To tell the truth, when my wife joined me in the US, my dressing was very bad. I was wearing some shirts. She came and said, you know what, since I'm here, these shirts, they're not going to work anymore. You know, so you don't throw away a beautiful person because of one or two things you don't like about the person. You know, begin a relationship, begin talking, begin dating, because you can influence each other in so many ways. You know, that's the number one thing, getting people not getting into relationships when it comes to online dating. And even when you meet the person, to make sure that you are not looking at. Now, there was another thing I was going to share, but I reduced the context. Now, if you look at how Isaac and Rebecca had their wedding, how they met, you know, it was like online dating. Because think about it. Abraham sent a servant to go find a wife for Rebecca. Isaac was at home. And this servant went and found the girl, and the girl said yes, and hadn't even seen the man he was going to get married to. I think it was like online date, but there were certain things that this girl saw that she liked. And one was the fact that, you know, his family sent somebody, they came home to meet the family, they brought gifts. All those things meant that you were going to a right family. And also it was kind of a relative in a way, because that's the way Abraham said, go home to our people and find a wife for my son. You know, so think of all these things that, you know, and another thing I want to say, that research shows that arranged marriages last longer. They have fewer divorce rates than regular traditional romantic marriage. And the reason they found is that people in arranged marriages, they learn how to love. You know, learning how to love is that you want to get to know the person. You want to ask questions. You ask questions. You know, what are the things that you like? What don't you like? How can we make our home better? They ask questions. But people who meet romantically feel, oh, I got the person, that's it. There's nothing for me to do. You know, so that's why they found out, that's one of the reasons they found out that arranged marriages last longer. And they also, their divorce rate is very, very low. So I'm not saying go and arrange marriage, but if you want to, there's nothing wrong with it too. But the point I'm trying to make here is that don't disqualify somebody because of one or two things you don't like, you know, because as you come together, You're going to complement each other in so many ways and learn and grow together, So be ready to have another person in your life, because if you are set in your ways, I think I talked about that earlier, when you start dating somebody, there will be times where it will be uncomfortable. But don't let that stop you, because think of it, if you've not dated for a while, yes, there's some discomfort, but there's so much good in that discomfort you're feeling, Ask for what you want, what you need. Don't let the fear of being hurt stop you from dating. When you go online to look for somebody or when you start dating, it doesn't mean you marry that person. You're trying to see if there's compatibility. You're trying to see. So if it doesn't work out, it's okay. But at least step out there. They say people, 90% of the time, people who put themselves out there, they get what they want, So step out there and start, connecting with people. Be clear, and don't assume somebody will read your mind. That's another important thing too. Be very, very clear about what you want. Be adaptable. Don't be afraid of be vulnerable. Also, adaptability means that you can adapt in certain situations, based on who this person is. You don't have to be perfect, but the key thing here is that take it slow, and then let time build the intimacy as it develops into something that maybe you want to take it into the next level, into marriage or anything like that. So one other thing outside online dating is that connect with people, events, serve at your church, serve in your community, volunteer work. I can tell you, people in my church who we've mentored, they say they met because they were both ushers. You can just go to church and come. You probably won't meet anybody, but once you start serving in the church, people will get to know you. I like talking about the story of Rebecca and Isaac so much because look at what happened when the servant went. And next time I'll talk about this. I'll do a whole lesson on it. The servant went, and the Bible says the servant sat down at the well to watch. And he said, the woman who will come and I'll say, give me water, and not only gives me water, but waters my animals, let him be the one. That is service. Somebody's probably watching you and say, I'm going to watch what this person does, how he takes care of children or helps people or that kind of thing. So serve, plug into groups and connections. There's a research going on at Harvard. This research has been going on for 90 years. The researchers who started this research, they are dead and gone, but the research is still going on, even with the grandchildren of the people who started the research. And what they're trying to find out is what makes people happy. And for 90 years, they found out that number one thing that makes people happy is people who learn to connect with people. They said it even not just makes you happy, it makes you live longer. And even people who have diseases who connect with people, they got healed. They feel better faster. It's quite amazing. There's an Italian community in Pennsylvania where these Italians settled down, and this was back several years ago when a lot of people were migrating to the United States, and they said they found out that the people there all lived to almost 100 years old. And researchers went there and they said, what are these people doing? They look at their food. Their food wasn't special diet. It was like they ate anything we all ate. Some even eat horribly. They checked their exercise. They didn't go to the gym. And they looked and they found out there was one thing. They had community. People at the end of the day, they go and sit in their friend's house and talk a little bit. When they had a problem, all their friends would come, hang out with them. They connected with people. Just this one fact made them live longer. So we putting ourselves out there, sometimes it's scary, sometimes it's uncomfortable, but I'm not saying do it without knowledge. Do what makes you comfortable, apply a lot of wisdom, but at the same time, make sure that you're putting yourself out there, you're connecting with people, and you are not having a very tight, narrow mindset of who you think you want to get into a relationship with. So, in short, to answer the question, online dating is a wonderful thing. Just the same way that we met, some met offline, you can meet online. We've seen so many people in our church groups who've met online, and they're doing great. They're really connecting very well. So go online to meet somebody and then date them offline. All you're doing is meeting somebody and, get into groups, connect with people. And I think that will set the ground for you to be able to grow and thrive in your relationship. So I hope that covers it. If you have any questions on this, I'm ready to take it. Sure.
Yeah. So would you also say that people should maybe do a research of the particular online site that they want to go because of, for security reasons?
Yes.
Because I see that your wife had put in watch out for red flags and
Yes.
something also that she posted. She said the eyes.
The ick factor. That's what I was saying. If you see one thing you don't like about the person, don't cut the person off.
Okay.
That's what they call the ick factor, yes. Yeah.
And, there was something funny when you said you meet online and you date out of line, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not marry out of line. One of our professors in Bible school once shared a joke where he said a lady called her father and said, "Hey Dad, I met this person on Instagram. He's wonderful, and we've been chatting on Facebook and all of that, and we are getting ready to marry in 2 weeks. And so I want you and Mom to come very soon." And then he said, the dad said, "Really? Okay, you go ahead, and you and whatever, I think Eric or something, you guys go ahead and get married on Facebook. You can have your babies on Zoom. You can keep chatting on Twitter. And when you get tired of him, sell him on eBay."
That's a very funny one, yeah. So I know the security issue is on people's minds, but this is what I'll say. I'm sure for a lot of us, there was a point that we wouldn't even put our credit card online to buy something because we were not sure. But now we even do it and not even think about it. Now, when you go online, I know now I'm not here to promote any online sites. In fact, I can't even think of one as I'm speaking. But I like what you said, Sister Joyce, that do your research. But know that if you put your profile online to date, there's a level of security that comes with it. And also the same way, if you go to church and meet somebody, you just met the person. So it's building from there. It's what's important, and having the right profile will make sure that, you if you look at another person's profile and don't want the person, you don't have to meet the person face to face. But the key thing here is that it's something that is working for some people. So learn how if you think or somebody could use this, let them use it the right way and they will get results, But one thing I also want to say is that this Valentine, there was a lot of news reports that some of these dating sites had algorithm that keeps you looking for somebody and not finding somebody. So, sometimes some of these companies, because they make money off you, they will tweak things, but a lot of them have denied that it's not true. But approach this with a lot of wisdom. If you put your profile out there and somebody expresses interest in you, ask questions. Get to know the person. Get to know their family, their friends. Date for a period of time. They say somewhere between a year and a half to 2 years before, if you think about marriage, you do, because that will really help you to really get to know this person and be really comfortable with it. So there's definitely concerns, but one thing I want to say is that be careful, be wise, and at the same time, ask questions if you have to, talk to friends and family, ask people's opinion if you have questions. But today is definitely a place people are finding love. It is. Yeah.
Especially those who don't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Whose lifestyle is just work, home, and church, and they don't play any role in the church.
That's right. Yeah.
It would be better, and I think it's even much easier if people get more involved in church or activities in their community rather than online. But if that is the only option, I guess.
Yeah. And I also want to add to it, thank you for pointing that out, the last point you made about getting involved in things in your church. You can also get involved in your community. Look, a lot of people live in a place where there's homeowners association, Get on the board, serve. You'll be amazed. I'm not saying you're going to do it because you want to meet somebody, but you're doing it because you want to connect. You remember what I said about people who connect with people? I remember years ago when I finished college in Massachusetts. I went to college and I finished. I started volunteering for Big Brother, Big Sister. Big Brother, Big Sister is an organization that helps kids whose parents are in jail. So in the weekend, I'll go and pick this boy up. We'll go and play tennis. I'll help him with his homework and I'll take him back home. So I kept doing this thing. And sometimes they'll call me and say, there's a conference. Do you want to go? They will sometimes pay. I'll go for the conference. Sometimes they'll call and say, oh, we have tickets to go and see baseball. I've never gone to a baseball game before. I'll go and see baseball. Another time they said, do you want to go skiing? Tickets, they give you pocket money for food, everything. So I kept it, and it was free. Nobody paid me for it. But at that time, I was in school and I wanted to do something. You will not believe the career opportunities this thing opened for me. Every time I was applying for a job and I call one of the executives and say, I'm applying for a job, can you be my reference? They say, sure, let them call me. I'll give them a great review on you. So I had my reasons for doing it. I had time. I wanted to connect with people and, learn things. And that gave me the opportunity to do so. So one thing I'm saying is that let's connect. Even if you are not the chatty, an extrovert, even if you're an introvert, there are things that you can do that you can help you connect and show yourself back. Because the underlying factor is that you can be an introvert and still have a social life. It doesn't mean you're an introvert, so you don't have to go anywhere. And I think COVID didn't help all of us when we all had to stay home for a whole year or even more. So the point I'm trying to make is that connect. Get out, do stuff in your community, serve in your church, go to the food pantry, and that's one thing I plan on doing with our kids. Go to the food pantry one day and let them learn the value of food and how some people don't have food, and you can go and serve. It gives them a perspective of life too, So think about all of these things. But one thing I'll tell you is that not only for your relationship, for your career, friendships, go out and see what is there. Go. There are walking groups, people who walk in the mall. You go in the mall and walk early in the morning. If there's something going on, even at work. Sometimes at work they do all these events. Go find out what they are doing and be part of it. Your boss will hire you because you did something outside your work in the company, because you volunteered, and not just because of the work you're doing. I have a friend who was working with this lady who will plan parties and will remember everybody's birthday. There was a promotion for a manager. His results and his numbers were better than the girl, but she got the job. And he didn't understand it. And I explained, I said, that's why she got the job, because she connects with people. And people love that than the numbers. you know. So let's open ourselves up. It's the same as we've talked about, you know, online dating, or we've also talked about, you know, being romantic. Sometimes it feels different, you know. So let's open ourselves up, because it's going to help your life. It's going to help you be happier. Even if you're not finding somebody, if you're getting out and connecting with people, your life will be richer and happier, because the results show that. And the last thing I'll say on that is, if you want a biblical spin on this, God himself is 3 in 1. God thrives on relationships. You know, he says, let us make man. He didn't say, let me make man, you know. So God thrives on relationships. He's a God of relationship. When God was sending Jesus to die for us, God could have been up there and sent lightning to save us from our sin, but he didn't do that. He sent his son to come as a human being to live amongst us, meaning that he's a God of relationships. And Jesus himself didn't hide in a corner. He was out there with people. He hung out with people. He connected with people. So let's do the same thing, and it will get us the things that we need. Thank you. If you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you.